Adam, how are you?
Oh, great.
You're all right, yeah?
Yeah.
I think, I don't know who, there was one night we all did, me, you and Peter Jones did poster together. I think we all kind of lined up, and it was just kind of like us in, like...
Stages of Man.
Stages of Man, yeah.
Yeah.
Peter Jones in the middle.
Yeah. Speaking of men, did you hear that there's only two genders again?
Yeah. Did you watch Trump's inauguration speech, you know?
Yeah, I caught the highlight.
Highlight reel.
The highlights.
Yeah, the highlight.
That was crazy.
That's fucking insane.
Dude, it was insane.
Yeah, it was. I mean, when I first saw the clip, I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
I thought it was AI.
mean,
I thought it was AI, yeah.
Finally, someone
Adolf
speaking
intelligence.
the truth. No. It's crazy.
Just a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God.
Thank God. We're going to be okay.
It's normalized again. I just been so tense.
Yeah. Your hair just starts growing back. Just grows into a Hitler Youth haircut.
Finally, I can shave. It's just leave it fucking in the middle of it.
Your beard
but,
stops being grey, it just goes red again.
but-
It's like a Benjamin Button thing, you just get younger. You just de-age for like 10 years. You're like, thank God it's okay to be racist again. But I think the thing that we're all forgetting is that he has autism,
Yeah,
right?
so did
No.
Hitler. There's no way Hitler didn't have autism. You see the way he behaved? Absolutely antisocial behavior.
You could say that again.
Yeah.
Oh, he was a bit antisocial, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He hated people so much that he just fucking killed a lot of them. He was just, that's what it was. It wasn't an anti-Semitic thing. He was like, I just don't, there's too many people around.
He's like, what's
Yeah.
it? Yeah, like, I'll just pick one.
Yeah.
Pick
just
one group. Pick a nice big group and
pick
just...
one group. But yeah, the Musk thing is, when I first saw it, right? The first time I saw the
Easy
clip.
with the hand there.
Whoop.
Yeah,
when
well, that was the mistake. He should have
Yeah.
pointed.
I was looking at the TV.
He was
and-
trying
Yeah.
to point, really, rather than...
But when I first saw it, he went like that, right? He did the... It'd be one thing if he went like this, right? Because it'd be one thing if he went like, just like with his arm like this. But he did the chest thing, and then like
Yes.
that.
Yeah, what
And
is
then
it?
I thought I saw it in his face. I thought him go, oh fuck, and he put his arm, and then he turns around, and he fucking does it again.
Yeah,
He does it
yeah.
again, but with less sort of conviction and vigor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like,
So
maybe he's
it's-
like, if I spread them out a bit, it won't. Like, it's like, oh, it's not because you don't Hitler salute 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
So maybe, maybe he's like, I can hide it amongst
Right.
some more of them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely fucking mental. Like, surely he knows what.
You
he
think?
was- Yeah.
I mean, I was more offended by his like fist pumps at
Oh,
the
it's
beginning.
gross. It's
like
just
that
he comes out and he's like,
because
yeah, it's autism
mean-
to the fucking you know, I was reading about him. Do you know he has 12 kids?
12.
12 kids with about 5 different fucking women. One of them died. His first kid died after, like, when it was 10 weeks old. I don't know why I mentioned that, but I mean, that could have been the start of his villain
yeah.
arc. Was just, and then he thinks, and then one kid is actually died at 10 weeks old, and then he claims that his trans kid is dead.
Right.
The woke mind virus killed
Yeah.
his kid, so he's technically lost 2 children in his eyes. And then he also takes ketamine once a week for depression.
Wow.
yeah, which is good. You strike me as a man now who's dipped his wick in the old fucking experimenting.
I've circled the edge of a K-hole.
Right.
I've only taken it once,
Yeah.
and I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've tried it. It's not fun.
No,
Oh,
I
yeah.
never. Every time I saw my friends do it, they were just like in the K-hole and felt like they were dying, and I was like, yeah, I don't want that. You know what I mean? That doesn't seem fun.
No, I'm more of an upper guy. I need stimulation. I'm sort of naturally in a
Yeah,
K-hole
you've got
for
ketamine
my-
energy
in my whole life.
Yeah, you've got ketamine
Whatever
energy.
whatever the chemicals
Yeah.
in ketamine are, they're sort of
Mm.
in my brain naturally. So I need and morphine as well.
So it just goes in
Yeah.
you and it just feels at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps ketamine relax going inside your brain.
I was always more alcohol and cocaine
Yes.
were better for me.
That's what the doctor said.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's what the white in your mustache is.
Then I used to smoke a lot of weed
Yeah.
from late teens to mid 20s,
Mm-hmm.
but actually it was just disagreeable.
Yeah.
drug to me. Really, I should have.
Weed?
In what sense?
I just when you first start smoking weed, you get it did sort of release me a bit because I'm quite shy and but when I first started getting stoned, I would kind of like do routines at school and be really creative.
Right. Okay.
But then it kind of went more to the side of not being able to communicate.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And becoming paranoid.
Mm.
Yeah. Been there.
And it's like I don't need weed for that. I'm okay.
Right.
So alcohol and cocaine better.
With the yeah. Well, that's what I thought with weed is that when this is how I justified it to my mother was like in my mid-teens I started smoking it and I kind of stopped giving a shit, but in kind of a good way.
Yeah.
That I kind of was just like it's fucking school, and I mean some people might say that's it's a bad thing to happen, but when I started smoking weed I was like this is all fucking nonsense. You know what I mean? School and fucking grades and
Chilled you out
and
for-
having a
right.
future and you know what I mean, like just
The
I wish I
system.
was smoking in school. I didn't start till after school.
like Joe
I
Rogan.
needed it in school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did you
Yeah.
start smoking? Smoking word poetry.
It was like regularly after. It was after like film school
Right.
when I was living in a share house with some friends, and they
So
were
like 23.
yeah, probably around
24,
then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I gave it up by then.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It's just fucking
Hang
like
up the
you. It
bong.
just didn't agree with me.
Yeah.
When I got high, I was like, my friends were able to get stoned and then fucking like have a conversation and be lively. But when I got high, I was just fucking like this, just in the corner of the room, not communicating with anyone.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
everything seems so sort of agonizingly important.
Mhm.
Like you've got to anything anybody says, you have to really think about, and you have to respond.
Yeah.
appropriately and with the same intensity. And I don't know, I just became very inhibited. It's interesting you talk about film school. I did film studies.
All right.
Really? Yeah.
As well, and it was I found one of the most pleasurable experiences is getting stoned and going to the cinema
Oh,
and
yeah.
watching a film. But then I would come out of film just not remember anything.
Oh yeah, you don't like absorb anything
Yeah.
about the film.
Yeah.
You gotta watch. You can only really watch dumb like films like Interstellar. Like it wouldn't is a like dumb, but
Or
I just
Harold
mean
and Kumar or
just
something
something.
like
Yeah, Howard and Kumar, exactly.
Schindler's
Something
List,
intellectual.
You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Jeez, imagine watching that stone.
The triumph of the
Fucking-
will.
Birth of
So
a
I'm trying to
Nation.
refer back to.
What's the triumph of the? Triumph
It's
of the
the famous Nazi rally film.
oh,
so-
excellent.
Lenny,
Is it
Lenny
Hitler doing this-
Riefenstahl directed it, and Famous Hitler.
Who directed it?
Lenny Riefenstahl.
Isn't
She was
it like-
like famous, sort of. She made a lot of Nazi propaganda films, but she was kind of rehabilitated after the war as well. And
Oh, she was like, I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But is she like? For some reason, I've heard that name. Like, did she go on and direct proper movies? Not to say that the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
things
let's
not
say-
She made the
proper movies.
Goonies.
Yeah, she made the Goonies. Yeah, yeah. She directed Inside Out. I think.
More like the Junies. No, sorry. Okay, all right.
Junies.
It's just Hitler is spelunking through a cave looking for Jews.
Oh fuck!
Okay.
Oh sweet Jesus!
All right,
There's Corey Feldman, I think, is Jewish, so
Yeah.
he wouldn't have
He
liked
got
that.
felt by a man a lot.
He did actually. God, he's
He's
fucking
fucked up,
disaster.
isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't retain enough sanity to be believable. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
you
yeah.
gotta be, you gotta, you
Yeah,
gotta
you're
not.
like, that I was about to say something there. I was like, that motherfucker's crazy.
Yeah,
But
yeah, he's just too because he made a film. He tried to release a film about his
being diddled.
Yeah, but I don't think it ever. I think it was one of those things where he claimed that like the powers that be shut it down, but maybe he just fucking
Shit.
He's just
It's like, Corey, no, the documentary is just terrible. You
Yeah.
filmed it on your iPhone.
yeah.
It's just you in your house.
It's just him filming his penis. He's touched me here.
He touched me here. But Lenny Riefenstahl, right? Going back to that bitch.
Yeah.
But did she go on to direct? In all seriousness, I feel like she went on to direct proper. No, I might get.
That would be crazy.
Can't-
After they get her to film the Nuremberg trials.
yeah, to redeem herself. Yeah.
She did photograph like African tribes
Oh,
in the
God.
80s.
Keep her away.
In a very considerate.
They were tasteful.
And
In the
erotic way.
They were tastefully done. But you know the thing with Polanski, right? Old fucking legend, yeah. Legend of the game, and I'm not talking about directing. But yeah, like it's crazy that people like.
He recently
with him.
remade Oliver Twist a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he's very talented, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you can't be fucking auditioning young ladies for Oliver Twist.
Is there little girls in the Oliver Twist?
There's young
children,
young women.
Right. Okay, but it's insane that he you know what I mean, kept working and then.
Well,
that's how good he was, you know.
He went very
Well, he stays in Poland, doesn't he?
Stays in Poland and France and
Polanski land.
Yeah. I mean, I liked. The judge said, it's terrible what you've done.
Yeah.
With 13-year-old girl.
Yeah.
But apparently commended him for not getting her pregnant by having anal sex with her.
Oh, he did it in the...
That is
and
fucking
he said,
amazing.
At least you were thoughtful.
Right, okay. Did he actually say that, yeah?
Something like that, yeah. It was like, at least you kind of considered.
Yeah, he was like, wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Think before you do.
Where was the trial in Afghanistan?
Oh.
Fucking hell. Yeah, no, because because there was that, but then, I was going to say, Adrian Brody and stuff. Actually, he has a new movie out.
He does.
The Brutalist. But I saw that after getting in trouble because the guy who was responsible for the editing or something said they used AI to clean up their Hungarian because their Hungarian pronunciation wasn't great. So they used AI to... And now apparently it's just, shit on their chances of, winning Oscars and stuff because they've been using fucking AI to... But I was talking about... I shit on Emilia Perez. She was our guest last week. No, have you heard of this movie, no?
I've heard vaguely, and a trans...
yeah, it's absolutely brutal. It's horrendous. But none of them can speak proper Spanish, so it really offended fucking Spanish people and Mexicans and whatever. Yeah. It was brutal. But did you ever, when you left film school now, did you go and make anything, or did you just...
It was more like film theory rather than practical, but I did try to do... I wanted to be a script writer and director, but I was incredibly lazy.
Yeah.
And I did some running jobs and made short films with friends, and I did do a filmmaking diploma afterwards as well to get more sort of practical knowledge, and went into animal porn.
Nice. I think I've seen some of your work.
Nice.
But did you, when you did running, did you do it on anything that was big or anything?
I mean, I don't want to name drop.
Yeah.
But
Birth of a Nation.
An Ozzy Osbourne music video.
Oh.
Which, never was released, I think.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, he's not.
He's
not. He's trembling.
Right. Yeah.
He's trembling, and but I was. It was a 2-day shoot, and I hated it so much. And the first assistant director shouted at me.
That's the sign of a bad first AD.
What?
If they have to shout at you, the best first ADs are very quiet and they're very in control.
Right.
When they're shouting at you, they're just they just think that the way to get things done is to yell at people, which is just it makes everyone upset.
Yeah.
Some people are such cunts on film sets. I can imagine. They just think they get off on the power so hard. Being the first AD shit like that, they'll just talk down to you. There was a thing I was working on a film, it was like a World War I film, and I don't know if it's a thing on all film sets, but they would come and talk to you, and when they were done talking to you, they'd be like, walk away.
Oh,
they would literally say,
no.
They would literally go, walk away.
Jesus.
You're done. It's insane.
Yeah, I feel like in your teens and 20s, you'll kind of just be like, all right, you'll take it. But
yeah.
I remember my late 20s, I had a job and a boss spoke to me like that, and I was like, I am a grown man. I just couldn't. Do you know what I mean? I
almost fought at the truck driver at work once.
You almost what?
Fought the truck driver at once.
Really, yeah?
Because we're unloading a truck, And he was just being a cunt, just like he was on speed, and like he'd obviously been driving for like 25 hours, and he was just getting frustrated at me because I don't have a forklift license. I'm unloading a truck, and I was being slow because I'm being careful.
And there was immigrants in the truck, was that?
There was immigrants, and he's like, "Come on, I need that, I need that action." But no, he was just, I can't even remember what he was saying. He was just like being a
while they're cold.
And I just got off the forklift.
They're gonna thaw.
Quickly before they thaw. So anyway, you got into
I just like, he was just being like calling me a piece of shit and stuff or whatever. I can't remember, but I just got off the forklift and just got in his face. I was like, if you fucking talk to me like that at work, I'm gonna fucking beat the shit out of you. He was like, oh, like he just kind of like calmed down after. It's funny how like sometimes when you confront people like that, they're just like, oh no, I was just in a rush, you know. I was just
100%. I worked in a hospital when I moved back to Ireland at the end of 2022. I was a janitor, the worst 3 months of my life, and there was just this guy who was training me in. I think he was younger than me, and he was just a bit fucking snarky with me and kind of making little comments about how I wasn't learning fast enough. And then we were down in like the yard of the hospital, which is beneath the hospital, where like just all the rubbish and the fucking medical equipment that was being thrown, it all came down to the bowels of this fucking thing. And one day he was just like had a go at me for like not learning how to use something, and I just fucking snapped at him. Like I was just fucking, don't fucking speak to me like that, you're fucking younger than me, you fucking little prick. And he was terrified, and he was like, oh, I'm so sorry, because he just fucking obviously is used to.
Did you go and solve an equation that was written on a blackboard?
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm better than this.
No, I walked into an operating theater and was like, I've got this.
Yeah.
I'll take this from here. But when I was in that place, right? So sometimes medical waste would come down into the thing.
Just
put it in here, boys. But the
just fetuses.
Yeah, just fetuses. Yeah. Can I keep them? Can I bring them home? Like, hey, Rob, what's in your bag? It's like, oh, nothing. But yeah, medical waste would come down from surgery, like amputated limbs and stuff. Yeah, and they'd be in these specially marked bags and bins and stuff. Right. And one day, like, I'm just such a fucking, like, I've said this before, but anything outside of stand-up, I'm so lazy. I put zero effort into it. And with the boxes that had limbs and blood and organs in them, you had to use this kind of, not like a fork, something similar to a fork.
A condom.
A condom. You had to use a knife and fork.
Chopsticks.
I should have mentioned the hospital was in Wuhan. But you had to use a specific thing, because you weren't supposed to touch the bag, so there could be AIDS in the bag. There could be a needle.
Don't touch that bag!
Oh fuck! Dibs on the AIDS bag.
Yeah.
But
just write AIDS on it if it's got AIDS in it.
I know. Yeah. There's a dead gay guy in there. But the bag, and it would be marked with this thing like biohazard, whatever, and there'd be like needles and stuff like that, and limbs and stuff. And then one day I didn't have the thing, or was too lazy to go get the machine, so I just got the bag out with the bin like this, and as I was pulling out of the bin, it tore.
Oh, no.
And then all this blood just like spilt out onto the ground and onto my shoes and stuff, and I was like, oh, that's not good.
Oh, it's like Fight Club when they're stealing the fat.
Yeah,
when they're stealing the fat in Fight Club.
Yeah.
Oh,
they put it over the fence and it gets and all the fat's like
kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like running across the courtyard of this with the bag, just blood just pouring out the bag, and I just fucked it in the thing, and then I got caught by some supervisor, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? There's just like a trail of blood. Like, there could have been any disease or anything in the blood, and it was a fucking serious biohazard. Like, and then one day there was a finger in the bag when I was like,
when you stuck it in there.
It's like this. But just absolutely an absolutely mental fucking job. And then there was days where I could have killed people. Like, there was days where people had like some
just picture you there with a mop, just standing at a door watching someone on a ventilator. Just like, I could kill you.
I could kill you. Well, I have said this before. There was days in the nursing home where you clean really old people's rooms, and they'd be like in their 90s, and then they'd just be on the bed there like this. And I was like, I could go over and put my dick in their mouth with no ramifications whatsoever. Because no one else is in the building. There's no cameras in here. They're dead, basically. They haven't been conscious in years. I could just go over there and fucking
perk them up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But
it's like Sleeping Beauty.
It's literally like Sleeping Beauty. But there was 7 dwarves running around as well. It was a weird nursing home. But like I had to go in when someone had. This was at the end of 2022, so COVID was still kind of a thing, and also people would have any like RSV or these fucking whatever viral infections, and they'd be in a room, and then when they got like checked out of the room or they died or whatever, I'd have to go in and disinfect the room so that when the next patient goes in, there's not the disease all over the walls and the beds and stuff. I kind of just go in and be like. Just absolutely half-assing it. Just, yeah, that's fine. And I just walk out, and they were like, that didn't take you too long. I was like, yeah, I just work fast. So people probably went into those rooms and died. And
right, you're
I made all that up, obviously. Yeah, I made all that up. Yeah, I'm just joking. Yeah, at an unnamed hospital. But it reminds me, one day I went in and I did like an 8-hour shift there, and just the like hardest job I've ever had. And then I was like, all right.
So this is the hospital or the nursing home?
This was the hospital.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about the nursing home and the hospital was they put me. I was supposed to start working in the hospital, but to work in the hospital you had to get a police background check, because there was children and stuff and vulnerable people. But in the meantime, they're like, well, while we're waiting for that to come in, we'll just send you to this nursing home to get you working. And I'm like, so you don't need a background check to work with the old people. So it's kind of like they were like,
that's why there's so many issues at those places.
Yeah, it's probably because they're just kind of like, who cares if they fuck the old people? Yeah. They, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, they're almost dead. But it was just weird that you didn't need a guard veteran for that. Anyways, I did this really, did 8 hours there, and then I went to this gig, and I was like, this is the thing I've been looking forward to all day. This is gonna be the only good part of my day. I went on stage. And there was these girls talking, and I was like, oh fuck's sake. And I was like, oh, let's start talking to them. And then I was like, what do you do? And they're like, oh, I study German and blah blah blah. And I was like, oh, I lived in Germany for 2 years. You can already see where this is going. And she was like, oh yeah. And I was like, do you speak German? And she was like, oh yeah. And she's like, do you? And I was like, not really. Like the only German I know is Zeke Kyle. And then she just fucking like, she wasn't even Jewish or anything, but she was like, you can't say that. And all of her friends got fucking. I just had a complete meltdown. I was on the brink of tears. I just started ranting. I was like, I work in a fucking hospital. I fucking this.
Yeah,
I'm a doctor. I save people's lives.
I handle AIDS bags every day.
I'll run and I'll get an AIDS bag right now, and I'll fucking shove it down your throat. And I just lost it. I was like, I'm trying my best. I have this job. I've come here to entertain you fucking cunts. And I just lost. I was like, it's always white women. It's always white women. I was like, are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? And she was like, no. And I was like, then shut the fuck up.
Consider yourself lucky, bitch.
If you were, you wouldn't leave this fucking room. And I just, like, tears were, like, just hovering in my eyelids. And I was like, you have no fucking idea what I've been through. People were like, what the fuck is this? And, it was absolutely fucking brutal.
Close to tears. I don't think I've ever had that much. Like, I've definitely been angry on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure it will happen. I feel like have you ever cried on stage?
I've not cried on stage. In some of the short films, I sort of made, or I sort of acted in some of them.
Yeah.
And one scene called on me to cry.
Really? Oh, you actually had to cry? Oh, wow.
Because I'd run over someone.
Right.
Wow.
That was not part of the film.
And you're at the you're at the funeral?
Yeah.
Do they invite the killers to funerals? Hey, I think you only knew them for a split second as they were careening over your car.
Yeah. So this is before. Well, how did you actually?
It was the first take. And I was meant to be like this kind of deranged youth. I mean, I was 30 at the time. So but deranged youth on drugs. I'd stolen a car, joyriding, killed someone, and then I felt guilty and I went to a church.
Oh, you just went to a church?
Broke down in front of a priest.
Yeah.
And first take, I was just so wound up.
Wow.
And I sort of method acting, thought back to the time I ran someone over.
Yeah. You're like, I'm perfect for this role.
And,
Hold on, just give me 10 minutes. Let me go for a quick drive.
Yeah.
And it just came.
Yeah.
And it was
Wow.
But I realize I don't usually cry like when I'm very sad. It's more like a surge of emotion. I often like music and certain music, pieces of music, or like a very exciting sporting event.
Right.
And you just the crowd's roaring and somebody's coming back from certain defeat.
Yeah.
It's happening now.
Yeah.
I'm just
reliving this. Yeah.
When the podcast is really good.
Yeah, when the podcast is really good.
Yeah, when you're in the middle of some, like creating some good art, like fascism's finally come back. Okay, I didn't say that right. Fascism has come back.
Oh, did you cry? Yeah, when you saw Elon's salute.
I was trying to get
yeah.
Leave it alone.
But
no, because it's a funny thing actually. I don't want to take over the conversation.
No.
But something interesting happened. It's kind of related to driving.
Yeah.
And I actually have a clash with this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Right now I'm meant to be on a speed awareness course.
Wow.
After speeding in Dorset.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Wait, just for one time?
One time, yeah. I'm only going 35 in a 30 zone.
Oh fuck. God, I hate.
But I found out last week that it was this date.
Yeah.
And I thought about contacting you guys.
Yeah.
Fuck that. This is more important.
Yes,
so what happens if you do it? Do you get you don't lose points or something? You get to
if you do the speed awareness course, you don't get the points.
But you still have to pay the fine, I'm assuming.
But you still have to pay a fine. But you can do the course, not get the points. But I tried to rearrange it.
Yeah.
They got a phone number you can call.
Yeah.
Dorset Police. And I kept calling, and it said, we're only open. We're open from 8 till 1 p.m. Recorded voice message, and I get up at 2.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But I finally got up today in time because I had to come in.
Yeah.
And I phoned them up, and I got through to a woman. And I was like, I thought it'd be easy to reschedule. I was like, can I just reschedule? And she's like, well, what? Why? Why do you want to reschedule?
Well, because I'm late and I don't want to speed there.
Exactly.
And you're like, sorry, I'm just on the phone. I'm just driving here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I already killed that kid, for Christ's sake. Because 35 is dangerous.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, you need proof.
A good reason.
Yeah, good reason.
It's
either a medical... It's either a medical emergency or work.
Yeah.
And I did something I've never done in my life.
Yeah.
In that moment, I told the truth.
Yeah.
And I said, I've got to go and do a podcast because I'm a stand-up comedian.
Yeah.
And she immediately went, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Give me your reference number and things like that.
Oh, wow.
And she did say, you've still got to send evidence that you're on the podcast.
You just send a screenshot of us doing the Nazi
Yes,
split.
yeah, I think it's
Listen to 3 of us like this. Tell her it's a speed awareness podcast.
Yeah.
But and she did say, it can be a screenshot.
Wow.
This is my alibi.
This is your proof that
This
you
is
actually
my
did
evidence.
That's amazing.
That's fucking hilarious.
So where is Dorset? Is that near London?
No, Dorset is a county, in the south coast. I think it's
so you have to
next
go
to
down
Devon.
there for it?
So
You have to go all the way down.
no, it was you could choose an online option. So I was meant to do an online. It started a couple of hours ago, but it lasts like
like a Zoom.
two or three Zoom thing.
But
But
I have it on the laptop there and just
I did think maybe we could do it during the podcast.
It's a bit inappropriate to have a speed awareness course on a platform called Zoom, isn't it? It's a bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a clever little
Easy
joke.
now.
Easy now.
Yes.
But yeah, like I've done. I was just saying we should. It'd be funny if the podcast was us just in a car speeding around, like breaking every fucking.
We do need to do a like if we ever do like drive to Bristol again or something, we should do a driving podcast.
I was thinking that the last when we drove down to Bristol to do that gig, we should have done a driving podcast.
You need to get a GoPro.
You need to get a GoPro.
That's great.
Yeah.
No, I did one episode of a comedian car share podcast with the great, and because we were going to do like a podcast of driving to gigs.
Who's that? Who's that?
What?
The great.
I only know
That's a different. No, I'm sorry.
We'll bleep that. We'll bleep everything. Yeah.
But
Booker.
it's funny because we drove to the gig.
Yeah.
Because we were going to drive to the gig, talk about the gig before,
Yeah.
and then afterwards talk about how the gig went.
Yeah.
Everything in between. But we
Let me guess how the
an hour out of the gig we broke down.
Really? Yeah.
So we had to cancel the gig.
Oh no.
Well, it didn't break.
no.
The battery light came on, and that means the battery's not charging. So we're in imminent threat of breaking down. So we had to turn around and hope we could drive, all the way back.
Mm.
This is your car?
This was car.
Oh, right.
You let her
Um,
drive?
Oh, you could have. Wait, is it a manual? You
So,
could have just fucking.
I don't want to. Well, I'm a speeder. I don't want to speed again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. So it's just funny. Yeah, and then we never bothered to do it again. But yeah, it's a good idea. But yeah, I liked something about driving and talking.
Yeah. Kill the
You
time.
could put a
Capture
camera
some
there.
road rage. I have road rage.
Yeah,
This is the thing.
Sometimes
It's funny, the road rage. Yeah, we had a lot of road rage.
Fucking cons.
But the stuff we
Clips.
said in the car down to Bristol was just that's unreleasable. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah, like just apps that would ruin everything. Not to say that this podcast hasn't already just completed. I did a gig.
Yeah, I keep thinking about all the Nazi salutes we did
Oh,
at the start.
dude.
I'm like, can
Yeah.
you just blur the whole screen for that?
Yeah, I'll
part?
just blur the screen.
Yeah.
But
Because they'll know what we're doing.
I think it's fine to do. Like, it's not.
We're reenacting a moment of history that
Yeah.
just happened.
But I did the
exactly,
bill. Huh? No, go on.
We're trying to cozy up to Trump as well.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
As
We wanna be
everyone
on the right
should
side of
now.
history.
Yeah, exactly.
We want a position in his
The alt-right
government.
side of history.
Yes, but yes, absolutely. That's a good tweet. But yeah, what was I gonna say there? Something. Yeah, I did the Bill Murray. And then I was and then I said something like what was it again? I said, oh, there's some fan from the podcast in the room, and someone's like, oh, is it the skinhead with the swastika tattoo? And I was like, all
Wait,
right.
an audience member said that?
What?
An audience member
No,
said
some comedian in the Bill Murray was like, oh, the skinhead.
Oh, when you're in the
with
green room.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah,
And I was like, oh, come on.
Jesus.
Yeah.
that? Wow, who said that?
Apparently, I won't say who it was. But
Oh.
I don't even think if I can remember. Was it? I can't remember who it was. Yeah, but there was one day like we were in the green room there, and me and were talking about the ethics surrounding having sex with people with Down syndrome. And
Man, on my Instagram, I'm getting a lot of reels of like Down syndrome ladies that are like being heavily sexualized.
Yes.
Like they've been given, like someone has given this person like fake tits.
yeah,
I'm like, what doctor is doing like?
Yeah.
How does that? I don't know.
Well, it's a Victoria's Secret model now.
Yeah, that was yeah.
there is. Yes, there is.
Fucking great.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there's surely.
Well, I
there's
hope she can keep a secret.
but as far as I can remember, her body's like you know what I mean.
Yeah, the
Body's
body's
up.
not too square. They're a bit squarish, aren't they? Are they? That's the issue.
Their heads are a bit
They're
square.
a bit blocky.
Yeah, they are a bit blocky. Yeah,
Like Lego.
They're
yeah.
kind of Minecraft
Lego brain.
porn.
Bad case of Lego brain.
But no, look, it's that whole Shane Gillis thing because he knows about it and relatives, and yeah, they're very happy, positive
Yeah.
people. So they probably love fucking.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They're
but
into it.
how we got into the conversation was saying that he did like I can't remember what he did like a thing in school, and there was a Down syndrome girl in his school or something, and they did whatever, and the Down syndrome girl was going around groping all the lads and trying to fuck all the lads, and they were like,
Oh.
Jesus Christ, and they had to like sit her down and be like, don't chew the desks, don't fuck the lads, whatever, like. And then anyway, he said a few years later he was on the street and he saw the Down syndrome woman kissing a guy who doesn't have Down syndrome, and he was like, oh, like what is the, you know what I mean? Because some of them are there's mosaic Down syndrome where they just look like they have Down syndrome, but mentally they're kind of like
Right.
the same as
Well,
us a little bit.
really?
There's a
Yeah.
very interesting statistic,
Yes.
and this proves that women can. Yeah, but there's a man for every woman.
Yes.
A woman can get any man she wants, but a man cannot. Some men don't get to have
Yes. Yeah.
sex with women. There are more mothers with Down syndrome than there are fathers.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Now, that's a statistic I saw,
But
and I've
do we-
never found again. I don't know what it was on a Wikipedia page. I can't.
Yeah.
To be
find it.
fair though, the
But-
fathers could be just absent father. They might just be not. They didn't stick around, so you don't know.
Yeah. God. Syndrome.
Okay.
Okay, that's getting bleeped.
Okay,
yeah, there's a few things I think.
Oh, come on now, Adam. You know it's bad when you're like, all right, come on. Oh God, this is gonna be the death of me. But but what was I gonna say there with the Down syndrome thing? Yeah. So so he was like, oh, I didn't know, like legally or morally, like, should I have said? And then when we were talking about this story and having sex with Down syndrome people, and then there was a female comedian there who was just like, I'm really uncomfortable right now. Can we end this conversation in the green room? Yeah. Oh, and I was like, oh, shut up.
I would have waited until she started a conversation about just whatever, and then just done the same thing. I'm just so petty like that. She'd be like, I'm going to high tea on Monday. I'd be like, hey, I'm really uncomfortable with this.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable just with everything. But
no, I'm scared of agreement. No, I was in agreement the other day. I was afraid to sit down. Everyone was like talking. They're all females. And I was and they all sat down, but I remained standing away from the kind of table seating area. And one of them said, why are you standing? I was like, shut the fuck up, cunt.
None of your fucking business, cunt.
Because I just, I don't even, I know, you're absolutely, you got to be careful what you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't, and it is, but I'm going too far the other way at the moment. I'm just like so. Also, I feel a lot of pressure in green rooms. Often, in bigger clubs where you got these experienced comedians, you feel like I've got to say something funny or interesting. You feel a pressure. I don't know if you feel it in green rooms.
I think when I'm first in a green room, like when I'm first in a gig, I'm happy to just sit there and listen and just not talk. I don't feel the need to, unless I see an opportunity to. But I'm not sitting there trying to be like. I just think it's better. to just not say anything.
No, exactly. I think it's, you kind of like feel like adrift.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I don't feel comfortable with comics until they've kind of seen me on stage. Like I kind of feel I just assume that they think I'm shit.
Yeah.
Because I assume everyone I don't know.
Shit. Yeah. No, you're right.
Like, you probably suck.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Your fucking face.
Yeah. It's like the Shane Gillis has a bit where he's like. Where he's like, he was on the phone to his wife friend, and his wife friend said the N-word over the phone, and he was like, oh my God, I had no idea we were that close. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like that sort of thing, where you get a feel for, like, people's sense of humor, and then you're like, oh, I can fucking take a breather a bit here. But, like, I remember being in the, I know that feeling, though, because I remember being in the green room with, who was it? Adam Rowe, obviously, who has that big podcast. Yeah. And I was like, obviously it would be nice to do that someday, that podcast. So you're sitting there being like, don't say anything, don't try and be funny, don't fucking, because you just say one thing, and he's like, well, this cunt's not funny. He's never getting on the podcast. So you're there just like, I think I slipped in
the M-word.
The M-word, yeah. And he was like, yeah, you free next week to do the pod? But, like you have to be, in green rooms and stuff, like, that's the sad thing about when you start doing better and better gigs. You're not with your mates anymore, and then you're in, green rooms with fucking people, and you're like, like I'm doing it's just, I don't know, like I don't like that aspect of getting better.
You stop gigging with your friends.
It stops being fun because the hang stops being fun because you're just like but then when you get to know the people that have a fucking sense of humor, and you see them on a lineup, you're like, well, at least that'll be fucking a bit fun.
And most I find most comedians you have something in common with them. We all have something in common. And there's also like this is my theory, but I feel like most comedians, because they at some point have died on stage,
Mm-hmm.
they don't judge you
If
as harshly if you bomb in the green room on
exactly.
stage.
Yeah,
If you say some stupid thing which wasn't funny, if you do that with, quote unquote civilians,
Yes.
even your closest friends,
Yeah.
they will remember.
Yeah.
They will mock you. They
Yeah.
kind of will, judge you for it.
I was at Ali Woods' I was at his birthday.
Yeah.
And I was talking to like some of his like civilian friends.
Yeah.
And one of them mentioned something about like, oh, I get mentioned in his show or something. And then he's like, yeah, I they made a joke like, oh, I want the whole next show to be about me.
Yeah.
And I just go, oh, you should rape him. like it's like a baby reindeer reference.
Yeah.
And they just like looked at me just in horror.
Yeah.
They were just like,
Yeah.
and then I explained the joke to them. They're like, "Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, baby reindeer." Like they were relieved that it was like, "Oh, it's a yeah."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh," but it was like a solid 5 minutes of uncomfortable kind of chat afterwards. They couldn't quite let it go. Like they're just like,
Yeah. Oh, that's.
But it got nothing in the.
It got nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you forget sometimes. Like,
Yeah.
but one time it reminds me. Like one time I went out for dinner with a friend of mine who's, way higher up, and we were having dinner with a few other comedians who were way higher up, and I just didn't gauge their sense of humor or whatever, and they were talking about the Liam Neeson thing with the Kosh. When he was like, I was going to go out and hunt the first black bastard that I saw or whatever, and then someone was like, where did that? They were like, where did that clip come from? And then someone was like, he was like doing a press junket to promote a movie. And someone was like, what? I was like, what movie was that? And then I just went, it was called I Hate Black People. And then just like nothing at the table. And then when we left, my friend was like, I should have warned you, they don't go for that type of thing. And I was like, okay, all right, yeah.
But that's very mild.
Yeah,
it's very mild.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's on the right side and just funny.
Yeah.
I mean, but people, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I listen, race.
This is the race segment.
It is kind of the final frontier.
What do you think is like an S-tier rate? Like, what do you? Let's rank the races.
Let's rank the races. Yeah, from here to here. Anyway, all right, that's getting blurred out.
In roast battles,
it's
like that's when you generally lose.
If you bring up race,
if the person is perhaps. Not that I see.
I think with guys though, I think you get away with it in roast battles normally. Maybe not here, but in Sydney, it was all like race jokes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like roasts are like a sacred space where you can really let rip. But I remember I did a roast battle against a woman who was Jewish and also had really big hands. That was like her thing. She had massive hands, and I did obviously really anti-Semitic jokes about so
she could blow a nose.
So she could pick your nose.
Okay.
But you're getting flashbacks to City. Oh God! But so I made all these jokes about her being Jewish and having big hands or whatever, and I was like, one of the jokes was like, every time XYZ clicks her fingers, it causes a tsunami or something. And I was like, that's not because her hands are so big, it's because Jews control the weather.
Junami.
Yeah, tsunami. And another one was like, another one, something about because there was a female judge on the panel, and she was just like, I'm going to give it to her because she hinted that I was body shaming her for having big hands, even though...
What the fuck is a roast?
Even though one of the prompts that the comedian gave me was like, I have really big hands, so that you can use that. She was like, you just went after her hands too much. And I was just like, you're kind of just leaned on that. And one of the things was just like... she's very funny. I would say let's give her a big hand, but she's already got two of those, which I think is a great joke. But yeah, and then they were like, and then I lost the roast or whatever. But you were about to say something there about the roast battle, were you?
Well, no, I won't say said it. But it's one of those, to me, one of the best roast jokes it was a black and a white guy, and the white guy said, "You've heard of the phrase, black don't crack."
Yeah.
There's also the phrase, black light crack. Which, yeah, got a real bad response, but I thought it was a funny, it's just simple little line. But I just feel like, maybe, it is different in Britain. I mean, in America it seems like...
Yeah, they fully go after race.
And kill Tony if they say anything.
Yeah, I remember when I first started stand-up in Dublin, they had this kind of like a roast kind of gig where, and I didn't know anyone because I was new. I went to watch, and they did this like roast gig where you got paired up with a comedian and you went on stage as them and kind of like took the piss out of them and kind of did their act a bit, and you were like, oh, whatever. And there's this guy there. He's a very funny guy. I don't think he even does stand-up anymore, but he got paired with this Vietnamese comedian, and they were good friends. So he was like, I'm gonna go like all in. He was like, yeah, whatever. So he went on stage and he got like one of those. He got a wig off of at the internet, like that's like like the Asian male hair, just kind of like Lego black, kind of fucking whatever. And he just went on stage. Anyway, and he was like, "Hello, my name is Ling Na," and he just did 5 minutes in the most offensive Asian.
Did the Asian guy have an accent?
Yeah. He was like, "My name is," and he did he was there with his eyes like this, like, and fucking like the Asian guy was dying laughing in the back, but just sitting and watching everyone else just be mortified was fucking beautiful. Because I couldn't say anything because the fucking Asian guy, everyone else was white, the Asian guy was dying laughing, but then all the fucking white people were absolutely fucking horrified. It was just fucking. It was beautiful to see.
They should let the other person stay like to the side of stage so the audience can see them laughing.
Yeah. But hang on there. We'll go on to the Patreon now. Let me just stop recording that. Alright guys, that was Adam Riley. I'll put his Instagram in the show notes, so do go follow him. Also in the show notes there will be a link to the Patreon for €3.50 a month. You get 2 extra episodes a week and you'll be supporting the pod. That'd be greatly appreciated. Otherwise, just tell people that'd be great. And I love you. Stay safe. Whatever. Wash your hands. Alright, nice one. Bye.